My name is Dan Genovese, Product Manager at OMG Roofing Products, the inventors of the game-changing roofing system known as Rhino Bond. And this is the Metal Rhino Podcast, where we talk everything metal. Not heavy metal, but instead Rhino Bond for standing seam metal retrofit roofing.
Well, welcome to the OMG Metal Rhino Podcast. And my name is Dan Genovese, Product Manager here at OMG, the host. And we are honored to have with us today one of the co-founders and presidents of Constructors911 from St. Louis, Missouri, Tim Carroll. Tim, welcome.
Thank you.
All right.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. And listen, I just want to give you a little bit more introduction to you and your company. And I was on your website. I like your website. A lot of combination of residential and commercial. A couple of things I picked up on is, I want to read here. Tim and David. I'm assuming David's a brother.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yep.
Tim and David's extensive background in construction and roofing laid a solid foundation for the company's success. They understood the importance of high quality materials and employing skilled craftsmen and maintaining transparent communication with clients. Those are the core values. That's great. Those are excellent core values. And certainly, as a building owner, I would love to have you do my roofs for those reasons.
Oh, thank you.
And we pride ourselves on our ability to adapt to the evolving needs of our clients and the roofing industry. And so those are great things. And certainly adapting to the roofing industry, it's always changing. Always new stuff out there. Maybe not everything's great, but certainly there's a lot of great things coming along. And one of the things that we want to talk about today is Rhino Bond. And I know we had sent you a list of questions to give you a little heads up. So let's start off. So how long have you been using Rhino Bond in general?
I really started using Rhino Bond in like 2016. A GAF rep came in and really bragged about Rhino Bond system. And so I guess he sold me on the idea. We were doing mechanically fastened TPO most of the time. And so when he sold me the Rhino Bond, I kind of got to see how it's not fluttering. You really weren't putting penetrations through the roof. So we bought a machine and really been using them ever since for TPO.
Great. Excellent. And this is, so, give me one benefit of induction welding compared to a fully adhered roofing or mechanically attached. Give me a benefit.
I guess the big thing, fully adhered price point is just way better because I don't have to get into all the glue, the rollers, all these other accessories that you need when you're gluing down, and it's faster. So there's a bunch of reasons why it's better and you're not putting holes. I really like the fact that it takes care of the perimeter really well. So I can still run the TPO up the wall and I don't need to cut in and weld another, I don't need to do another piece like with a mechanically fastened system. I'd have to put if I was dropping screw plates through there, I'd either have to put a rust strip down and not penetrate it or penetrate through it. So It makes it look better and cleaner.
So using adhesives, it's not an all year thing, correct? You tend to
not unless you buy the really expensive calf grip, and you could maybe do it when it's 27 out, but if you start getting below the 20s, you can't. With Rhino Bond, you can do pretty much all year.
All
Missouri, you can. Yeah.
Right. Now
we did a bunch of Rhino Bond on some like those utility centers, where everybody has the rental. Like they're really long. They got a metal R panel, and then you just run. They would go out. The fasteners would go out in 25 years, and then we'd come in with a Rhino with it, flute fill it and put a 2-inch board down, and then just put the Rhino Bond on there.
Right. Now you mentioned one of the key benefits is you're not putting fasteners through the membrane. Is that a key selling feature to a building owner?
I think it definitely is. I think it's a big thing because when you see the discrepancies in TPO, right? You see a lot of like cold welds that will open up, and if you're mechanically fastening it, it's leaking right there where that hole is right away. It's going to run down the screw and out. Whereas if you do have an accidental bad weld or somebody didn't clean the seam right, then the Rhino Bond really limited. I mean, your leaks go way down for sure.
Right. Right.
Uh,
Well,
I mean, I could keep going. There's a lot of other things, but
go ahead.
I like the fact that if you put your plates tight, it looks really good. Because you can see all the plates and kind of uniform. So if you're a detailed person, I kind of am a detailed person, so you see those plates like that. And then it also isn't fluttering like a mechanically fastened on a higher, building. You're going to hear that membrane flutter on a high 30-knot wind day, So it really helps with that too. So you're kind of getting the benefit of a fully adhered system for half the price, but you're mechanically fastening it just faster. So
that's huge. That's huge, and that's that makes a difference, So with a focus on metal retro, you have a building owner who's got an old metal roof. So how are you going to sell this over, let's say, a foam and coating? Because you do that as well, don't you? You do coatings or not?
We do some. I'm always going to go more to a single ply system than trying to sell a coating, because coatings just, a lot of everything has to be right for them to work well,
True.
or they don't work well. And so it's real situational. So I really try to, if we're going to get at a price point of, over 800 a square, you're sitting here saying, why would we want to, coat, because coatings now have gone up so much too, that it's not just about taking exposed fasteners and doing the stitch screws and coating them over with some fabric and then, priming the whole deck and spraying it. You got a lot of different coats you got to do there.
Right.
Overspray. So on a big metal roof, it's usually windy. You're going to get overspray. You don't have parapet walls blocking anything. So those are kind of the problems with that. So it's real easy to say, hey, we got something that will drop into the purlings, with the purling screw, lock it in, and you've got something that's holding it down really well,
Right. And
you're increasing your R value.
That's huge too. That's huge too. And I think people hear coating and they think, well, it's going to be one shot and I'm done. But like you said, there's a lot more work, a lot more work than we think it might be. So, and at the end of the day, not a whole lot of difference in price anyway.
Yeah, I mean, and you still have, there's just like with the coating, so many things can go wrong. And if you don't have the primer done or somebody didn't clean thoroughly enough, then that little spot starts peeling up. If you're not doing silicone and you're doing acrylic and there's too much moisture, there's a spot where it ponds, then, it will pond. Let's just say this. Let's say you have a dew point temperature you're doing in September, the dew point starts hitting. And I've seen this happen where you get a little puddle on there, that coating will fail and it starts peeling off because it never fully cured through. And when it didn't fully cure through, it didn't let the vapors out. And so then you got to come back and you got to sit here and you got to get that water off all the time, which happens on some metal where the flashings are, or it was built up too much.
Yeah.
Or, before I put the TPO down on your metal retro, these guys like to cake tar and different stuff all over in these spots where they think it's leaking. And then you got to get all that off just to coat it well.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to just cover it up. And you know what I mean?
Tar's the answer.
In. Yeah. And honestly, another big benefit too is if you have a metal roof or it's an insurance claim that was hit with hail, you don't want to peel that roof off, because you're opening up the whole building below most of the time. They have like a little bit of insulation under there. It's a steel building. It's on purlings. You don't have another deck under it most of the time. So you're opening them up to all kinds of stuff.
Right. Which also means that's disruption to whatever's going on in the building.
Yeah. So that's where it really comes into good play,
Right.
So
tell me, how long did it take for your crews to adapt to doing the Rhino Bond way? It's a little bit different than your standard.
The hardest part, really, I mean, once we got done doing Rhino Bond, we would do it on, whether it was just a wood deck roof, right, where we would do all the plates. Once we got down to the understanding of the way to do the plates and how long it takes to let it set up, to do your test strip and all that, to do your test strip. Sorry about that.
Yep.
To do your test strip. then the crew was fine. That probably took up 3 or 4 jobs to where they had it down really well. But now they've got it down to where we use we have like 2 of the little guys and 2 of the big ones, and we kind of just cycle. We can do easily 50 squares a day.
By the little guy, you mean like the hand welder?
Yeah, the hand one. Yeah, I like that little one.
So
when you go into the corners, you can get tighter to the corner, to where the wall goes up. If it's a parapet wall, you can get really tight.
Tell us about your most recent Rhino Bond metal standing seam roof. What kind of a building was it? What was your crew size? Give me a couple details.
We had a steel building. It was like a megalock panel, standing seam. I mean, it wasn't a full standing seam roof, but it was like the one. It was kind of flexible. It wasn't really. It was maybe 20, maybe 26 gauge. So we flute filled it, and then we came back on and put a board down. I think we used it was a dense deck, and then we did our pattern on the purlings. I think it was every 6 inches on this one, because it had a lot of openings. So we had to design it with Versico for that, because we used Versico membrane, and then it was 20-year NDL, and it took us. So we had a 12-guy crew with the guys on the ground.
All right. How old was the roof at that point?
I would say the roof was about 20 years old.
Right.
It was damaged from storm. So it was in Wentzville, Missouri. So that was good.
Okay.
When we got 12 guys, I didn't really have 12 on the roof. I probably had 3 on the ground, and we had a guy operate a telescoping forklift so we could bring materials up and down. And then, 8 was really running it. And we usually have, a dedicated Rhino guy, and then a robot guy, and then maybe a tie-up Rhino guy with the little one.
Right. And so, fastening into the purlins, you're getting some great pull values as opposed to fastening into the pan. We see a lot of that, of just fastening into the pan, but really the advantage there is just the pull values of into the purlins. It's just tremendous, holding power there. And do you get that deep with the building owner as far as how this is going to go down, or not really?
Not since COVID. I would say things have changed. It doesn't seem like people are as deep as they used to be, but I would say before COVID, yeah, you would get deep in the building owner. I think now it's a lot of not people just want to move faster. That's what I kind of see in the marketplace here, but we used to get that deep with the building owner. But as time has changed, I think people aren't as disciplined and as into technicals. If that makes sense.
Sure.
As they used to be.
Right.
I mean, some do, but not now. It's like, oh, what's the best price and how fast can you move? And I really like Rhino Bond because it's highly competitive price point, and it does a really good job at what it does. It's very. I don't have callbacks with Rhino. I've used it for almost 10 years. I haven't had playing on one of the jobs.
Well, listen. Last question. I know you're busy. You got to get to work, but let's say you're in an elevator. You're at a trade show, and you've only got a few seconds to tell another roofer about Rhino Bond for standing seam metal. What are the couple of things you're going to tell them?
I would say the big thing is that it's you can get the plates for $1 a plate. It's very economical to do TPO, and it does as good a job, if not better, than fully adhered. And if any metal system, you can completely outfit it and get single ply on that roof without doing a whole bunch of work.
All right.
So
all right. I like it. Anything else you want to tell us, or how's business?
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on. John Oldenwall's our rep in Missouri here.
Yeah.
He's a good longtime member with you guys with the RSCA, which is the Roofing and Siding Contractor Alliance of St. Louis, and built a relationship with him over the years.
Yeah, we love John. He's a good man.
Yeah, he's a good guy. So.
All right.
I appreciate it. Get on your podcast to promote our name. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Like, again, I love your website, and I know St. Louis is a happening town, and that's great. So congratulations to you and your brother, and keep up the great work, and we'll be here to help you whenever you need us.
All right. Well, thanks.
Again, thank you very much. All right, everybody. Have a great one.
You too. Bye.
Yeah.